Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views report on German politics. The armaments company Rheinmetall survived a comprehensive cyber attack largely unscathed on Tuesday. Previously unknown perpetrators tried to bring the company's IT systems to their knees. Only the group website operated by an external service provider was temporarily unavailable. That's at least what a group spokesman said on request. The attack was apparently a so-called DDoS attack. Attackers overwhelmed their victims' service with a flood of data requests in order to paralyze them. However, Rheinmetall's IT infrastructure has proven to be stable. Apart from the group website, there were no significant failures, the spokesman said. Germany wants to buy back Leopard II main battle tanks from Switzerland from the 1980s. A corresponding request went to the Ministry of Defense in Bern, as its spokesman Renato Kalbermatten confirmed on Friday. The newspaper Blick reported about it first. They are intended to replace tanks that Germany and other EU countries have supplied to Ukraine. The Swiss Ministry of Defense did not say how many tanks Germany wanted to buy. Switzerland has 230 Leopard II tanks, of which 134 are in service and 96 are decommissioned. However, they were not decommissioned as Kalbermatten said. According to Swiss law, only decommissioned material can be sold. Parliament decides whether material is to be decommissioned. It's not certain that a decision will be made in the short term, though. Around 200 customs officers from the Financial Control Agency for Undeclared Work searched business premises and apartments in several federal states on Thursday. The background is a criminal investigation by the Kiel Public Prosecutor's Office in the field of construction. The main customs office in Kiel announced this. A total of 18 properties in Schleswig-Holstein, in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, Bremen, Berlin, and North Rhine-Westphalia were searched. Extensive evidence was secured there. A main suspect was arrested in Schleswig-Holstein. He should be brought before the magistrate on Thursday, and he's suspected of having gained a competitive advantage over companies that comply with the legal provision at the expense of our social systems and also at the expense of the employees, said the head of the main customs office in Kiel, Robert Dütsch. In addition, he is suspected of fraudulently obtaining bridging aid from the Corona support program in the amount of more than 200,000 euros and using it improperly. The Leftwing faction in the Bundestag has failed with a push for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. Social Democrats, Greens, Liberals and Conservatives voted on Thursday against the motion called Diplomacy Instead of Tanks. The right-wingers from the AfD abstained. Several speakers accused the left of not distancing themselves clearly enough from right-wing critics of the Ukraine aid. The Bundestag has decided on a special levy for products made of single-use plastic in order to relieve the financial burden on cities and communities when it comes to cleaning streets and parks. With the law passed on Thursday evening, the manufacturers of certain beverage cups, food packaging or cigarettes will have to pay into a state fund in the future and thus contribute to the costs of disposing of discarded coffee cups and bags of chips. Annually, 400 million euros should come together with this, with flow into the coffers of the municipalities. With the different plans for far-reaching reform of the hospital landscape, the signs between the federal government and the North Rhine-Westphalia point to confrontation. Federal Health Minister Karl Lauterbach from the Social Democrats warned his North Rhine-Westphalian colleague Karl-Josef Laumann from the Christian Democrats on Tuesday not to go it alone with the hospital reform that has already been initiated for the most populous federal state. Laumann's reform would not result in any cash flows, is what Lauterbach threatened on Tuesday after a visit to the Social Democrat parliamentary group in Düsseldorf. With Laumann's reform, the hospitals are to specialize in certain services such as heart surgery or knee prostheses through to obstetrics in coordination with health insurance funds and associations and the hospital society. The annual number of cases per medical service is used to determine the need. This is exactly what Lauterbach criticizes. In his opinion, this would mean that many unnecessary interventions or surgeries would remain. Finance Minister Christian Lindner has called on the federal cabinet to exercise budgetary discipline. The Liberal politician said on Tuesday at a meeting of the Municipal Utility Association VKU in Berlin that Germany's economic strength is great. Only the appetite of politicians to spend money is even greater, he said. Negotiations on the federal budget are currently underway. Departments have additional spending requests in the billions. Lindner pointed out that due to rising interest rates, the federal government's interest burden had risen from 4 billion to 40 billion euros per year. He also said that the state was only able to act so extensively with packages of measures in the energy price crisis because the finances were stable. There can be no continuation of an expensive fiscal policy. After the next election, the Left Party will no longer be represented by Sarah Wagenknecht in the Bundestag. I rule out a renewed candidacy for the left, said Wagenknecht to the newspaper Rheinmetall, according to information from Friday. After the end of the legislative period, she either wants to withdraw from politics and work as a publicist and author, or there will be something new politically, she said. When asked about the possibility of founding a new party, Wagenknecht simply said, "It's being discussed in many places." According to her observation, it is a problem that many people in today's party spectrum no longer really feel represented by anyone, she says. Wagenknecht has been a member of the Bundestag for the Left Party since 2009 and was co-chairman of the parliamentary group for a number of years. In 2021, she was the top candidate for the Left Party in North Rhine-Westphalia and was again given a seat in the parliament. And recently, Wagenknecht had been heavily criticized inside and outside the Left Party for her so-called Manifesto for Peace, written with the publicist Alice Schwarzer. The left-wing leadership criticized the associated call for a rally to mark the anniversary of the Ukraine war because they missed sufficient distance from Russia and a demarcation from right-wing forces. In connection with a highly controversial trip to Russia by some right-wing AfD officials last September, further oddities have now been revealed. The State Association of North Rhine-Westphalia is currently examining party order measures against 2 female members. A corresponding report by the German news magazine Spiegel was confirmed on Friday by a spokesman for the AfD parliamentary group to the German press agency in Düsseldorf. The 2 women are said to have accompanied the North Rhine-Westphalian member of the state parliament Christian Blex and the state parliament members Hans-Thomas Tillschneider and Daniel Wald from Saxony-Anhalt as translators. According to the AfD, they were not. Instead, one runs a tantra massage studio with sexual services, the other is an office clerk at a car repair shop. On request, however, the massage expert said that she simply masters Russian and likes to get involved politically, as the Spiegel reported. On her YouTube channel, she called for the Mayor Kill regime to be overthrown. According to her, the travel and hotel cost for the Russia trip were taken over by the parliamentary group in Saxony-Anhalt. The spokesman for the Düsseldorf parliamentary group assured the German press agency that the 2 women were party members but had never worked for the North Rhine-Westphalia parliamentary group, not even as interpreters or translators. After the trip to Russia, the North Rhine-Westphalian parliamentary group had excluded blacks from their ranks. The senior teacher has been a non-attached member of parliament ever since. With easier immigration of skilled workers and the planned reform of citizenship law, the traffic light government wants to push ahead with a change of course it has announced in migration policy. But now the FDP, the Liberals, possibly also under the impression of poor results in past state elections, is reporting a need for improvement in one of the two projects. In principle, the Liberals are still in favor of shorter waiting times for naturalization, and they also like the end of the dual passport ban. But some other ideas in the draft of Federal Minister of the Interior Nancy Faeser from the Social Democrats for a new citizenship law are met with criticism in their ranks. This includes, for example, the plan to pave the way for all foreigners over the age of 67 to obtain a German passport without a naturalization test and a written German test. According to the draft, people from this group who want to be naturalized should only be able to communicate orally in German. And this concludes this week's report on German politics. I'll see you in my next video. The next one is already in the end screen here, but you find a lot on this channel, so just have a look. I'll be back.